Stop Now, a social experiment enterprise. Stop, listen, share. Everyone can make a difference. We are on a mission. Everyone should do something greater in their lifetime. Change the future. Be a proud member. Join us to support, volunteer, and donate.
Welcome to Stop Now. Stop, listen, share. We are a social experiment enterprise, and I am one of your team members, Nate. And joining me this week is another one of our members here, JK. JK, how are you doing this week, my friend?
Hi, Nate. I'm good.
I'm glad that you are good. I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that everybody out there watching is here because that is what it's all about. We are here to have a conversation. We are here to do good in this world. And that is what Stop Now is all about. If you want to find out more information about the organization and what we do, you can follow us online. Go to the website stop-now.org for more information and find out about our campaigns to end human trafficking, our campaigns to end modern day slavery, to end racism, to end all different kinds of abuse. And to that end, JK, we've got different experiments and different campaigns all the time. And for people out there watching that would like to get involved, that would like to be a part of the solution, you can volunteer because we're taking on new team members every week, people that want to join up, people that want to fight the good fight and join a good cause. And so I'm really excited right now, JK, about what we're doing here at Stop Now.
Yeah, Nate, that's wonderful. I think we are hoping to expand it, and many people might have been watching it. Melissa, Cole, and Shiva, different team members have been joining us, and we are growing. And new volunteers, team members are welcome to join us. And every week we are getting some traction. That's a good part. And as you said, our mission is to make everyone do something greater in our lifetime.
Mm.
So join us to support. And if you are interested to get paid and pay the bills, you can do the volunteering. And also, we are thankful to our sponsors who donate, and also people who donate their time and talent, which will definitely change the future.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, JK, because I think, people that have been watching us for the past year, people that have been checking out our shows, checking out the conversations that we're having, they might think, how can I be a part of that? How can I, join that? How can I use my talents? Like you said, your talents, your time, and your treasure to do something good in this world. And, I can just say really quick, from my perspective, I'm somebody that's been involved in broadcasting most of my life for at least the last 20, 25 years. And I found Stop Now while I was just kind of trying to figure out what to do with my life last year, like a lot of people were, and, hooked up and connected with JK and Melissa and just finding the projects and these campaigns like you're talking about, JK, to do some good in the world and talking to various guests and experts in their field and people that are out here doing the work to end modern day slavery, to end human trafficking, to combat racism. I think, it goes to show you, for people out there watching, it doesn't matter what you do, in your 9 to 5 or what part of the world you come from or what part of society you come from. Everybody has a purpose, like you're saying, JK, and we can use that purpose for good.
absolutely, you're right on track, Nate. So, our vision is to create Stop Now as a crowdfunding platform for launching projects, and people need help. So, we need help, and we all have to help each other to make a difference in our world and in our communities. So, we will do everything that is possible to launch the campaign or project, whatever you want to get justice or stop abuse, stop racism, stop human trafficking, and all those things. So in this process, we don't want like to get very serious. So we welcome everyone to come join hands to have fun, and how we can do this with a smile, right? Like always, you
Yes.
smile, and that is a good thing, Nate. And before we start our conversation and have a discussion today, I know we don't have any special guest arranged, but you did a short and sweet intro about you, and probably once we have opened up to the public, more people are joining through meetups
Mm.
to this online conversations. We are making sure that like they are comfortable to come on video, as well as share their identity. If they are not okay with it, they can call in. The number is displayed on the screen. They can call us, or they can join in the Zoom link. If they are open to it, they're welcome to join there, and we will go from there. So any question and
Yeah.
answer session can also be done. Feel free to ask any questions, and we will encourage everyone to speak up, and also use the chat features that is available. So you can, if you are hesitant and a shy person, you don't want to ask question, you don't know what's going on here, so you can put in the chat as well, and we will read it out for you.
Yeah, 'cause I think that's a big part of why I like what we're doing here with Stop Now, JK. It's not just what we're doing on our side as the team members, but it's about having that connection with people out there that have different experiences and different stories, and who may have some questions about what they can do to help and what they can do to use their talents for good. And so I think we've had a lot of fun. Like you said, we've touched on some serious topics over the past year, but we've also been able to have a good spirit about us and have some fun with it and talk to a lot of different guests. And I'm excited to see what this next year of Stop Now, particularly when you talk about doing the meetups and interacting with a lot of different people out there, what this next year is going to be for us.
Yeah, certainly. On that note, I wanted to explain on the social experiment that we have been doing it,
Mm.
and you are well aware of it, and you volunteered to set up your profile, and also that has created a lot of traction for how this industry is functioning, and how billion-dollar companies are being misused by subcontracting agencies. And we wanted like to test it out and expose these crimes online live. So that has come to a very good start, and it has progressed almost 7 to 8 weeks
Mm.
now, and we are trying to put an end to it and see like how that is uh, going to play out. So I will probably share some of the information with you, what we have been doing on the background, and that meanwhile, if anyone joins, you can welcome them, and we can chat more on it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like you said, JK, I had a chance to start the experiment with you. Unfortunately, because of scheduling, I wasn't able to finish out the experiment. But like just hearing Shiva and talking with Shiva over the past few weeks about his experience, it's been really fascinating because I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes with a lot of these companies that people don't think about. And there's a lot of people who are being taken advantage of by these big companies and by these hiring firms. And so, like, just kind of hearing what the experience has been like for him, it's been uh, something that opened my eyes because I never would have thought about it, JK.
Yeah, to be honest, like I was so surprised. I never thought like we would reach to that extent, and I think we are getting some new person joining in. Let's
Okay,
welcome him.
see who we have here. All right. Can you hear us? Let's see.
Hi, Rabiul Islam. Is that right? Am I saying your name
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Nate?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, we're just having a conversation here, and part of that conversation is bringing in uh, all these voices out there. So, you want to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Rabiul. I'm joining from Bangladesh.
Mm.
I am a high school teacher. I teach English.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, I guess what have you kind of noticed? I guess it would be my first question for you in terms of a lot of these conversations we're having, whether we're talking about human trafficking or abuse or the way people treat each other. Like, and obviously being over there, you got a different perspective than me being in Virginia. But what do you see lately about the way that people kind of treat each other?
I think we are getting more alienated, and the pandemic has contributed in this alienation.
Hmm.
Maybe we're thinking in lines of staying alienated. I mean, for some of us, it's true because we're getting used to this alienation. Yeah, that's why we feel more lonely or maybe depressed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mental health is something that a lot of people didn't think about, and because of what everybody's gone through, starting with last year, we're starting to see like this depression, anger, we those feelings of anxiety that a lot of people are having right now. I think that it's really brought mindfulness and mental health and well-being to the forefront, Rabiul. But I also think that, and maybe you have a better perspective than I do, being a teacher. But I think something that has surprised me is the way that kids, I've got a couple nieces that are 10, 15 years old, like the way kids have responded in this crisis, that kids are a lot smarter and a lot stronger than I think people give them credit for.
You're right. Yeah.
So, I'm JK. Rabiul, thank you for joining us. And this is the first time that you have joined. And how did you find us?
Mm.
So what made you to join this meetup today?
Oh, I was actually going through meetup events, and I was looking for an event that is starting soon and has an interactive purpose. So that's how I got into it. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, right? So random search and looking for some interesting thing, right? So just to let you
Right.
know that, like, do you know anything about our Stop Now Foundation, or what do we do here, and what are you looking for?
I read on your description like Stop Now is a social experiment enterprise. But the three words that actually grabbed my attention is like stop, listen, and share. So it almost sounds like it is a support group. For me, it sounded like it would be a support group for each other.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, you are also arranging, I guess, discussion.
Yes,
I guess in a way, I never thought about us like that, JK. But through the guests that we've talked to over the last year and having conversations about racism or human trafficking or abuse and people recovering from abuse, I guess we are kind of a support group.
exactly. That's one of the thing I wanted to mention that, right? So we just leave it open, and he rightly pointed it out. Thank you for that, and we really appreciate your uh, openness in giving us some concept and idea like how we can evolve and develop ourselves. You are right, we are a non-profit organization. We try to help each other and more of a support group to launch different kind of projects and campaigns which will change their lives. So those are the attractive points we wanted to say, that like, because we all keep on running with so many thoughts in our mind, we never stop. So that's why like we want to stop people. And when we say that like stop now, we are stopping you for a while and making you to listen to yourself as well as to others and find a solution. It's a solution oriented civil discussion. That is why like we are trying to put that like listen carefully, and then if you care you will be sharing it. So share it all over the world so that you will get benefited as well as others gets benefited. So that is the motto, and that's what we are trying to do here. And in this process we wanted to have fun as well. So we tried different things, as Nate was mentioning. We tried different therapy or recovering thing, special guests coming and giving us insight and uh, talking through how we can solve problems and all those things. So if you have any questions or any concerns, like you can bring it up. Like, do you want any particular topic that needs to be addressed?
Mm, I think I may have attended one more session in the last week. Maybe we talked about immigration.
Mm.
I'm not sure if this was the group, but I saw someone wearing a Stop Now T-shirt. Uh, so
Or
is this a sort of organization, JK?
yes, you are right on that. I am not sure whom did you talk to, but then yes, I believe like I was on vacation like during our holiday season, like we were like juggling around, and I was not there. Someone else would have been there in our meetup group. Yes, we do cover one other non-immigrant visa program, Stop H1B program. So that's a campaign run by non-immigrants, and mostly you said like you are from Bangladesh, right? Is that right?
Right, right. It is.
Yeah, I don't know how much impact it's for you guys, but Indian communities have impacted on this a lot. So that's why like they are some of them sponsors, they want to run that campaign. So it's about non-immigrant visa category. So it is tied to immigration as well. And do you have any thoughts on that or experience?
Mm.
No, just I think one of the participants from that conversation was interested to know if um, the U.S. Embassy in Bangladesh provides visas for refugees, but I couldn't actually make any clear points about that because I'm not aware whether USA would actually take refugees from Bangladesh.
Mm.
I checked their website. I didn't actually I didn't actually see anything on their website. Uh, yeah.
Yes, I think those are complex topics and issues. All right. So I'm not sure. Like Nate might can mention some of the issues that is being faced over here, right? So the refugee status and all those other things are mainly based on my understanding is war-torn countries like probably in the Asian subcontinent. I can think of Sri Lanka, and also somewhat like in Afghanistan, and I was not sure even if Pakistan is kind of in that radar, because for various political reasons that has been a different ball game, right? So you know that, and Bangladesh has a different tie. That I know that. Like I have read some political article. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not aware of any politics or anything about Bangladesh. So with your ex-president, you have the president role model, right? Is that right? Or is it prime minister?
We had prime minister. We only have prime minister election.
Okay. Yeah. Someone, I don't know if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, like someone in the political, like opposite parties, like they had some connections with the US, and they lobbied or somebody got killed or they had different kind of issues. So that I know that US gets their hand dirty with every other country all over the world.
Hmm.
That's for sure. Being Iran, Iraq, and all those Syria stories, we all know that globally, and that is more prominent here in the media as well as in the politics. But with terms of Bangladesh, you have to enlighten us because you are the first guest we came to know, interacted with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have touched on a very difficult
Mm.
topic. You know, for me to actually give you reliable information, it's very difficult. Um, I only, maybe just like anybody else, I'm also getting the news from media, and you know how biased media can be.
Yep.
So, from what I heard, I mean, if I give you like last 20 years in my, I'm 31 years old now, so I only remembered my past 20 years or so. So in my past 20 years, what I have seen is a very bad politics running in the country. Um, so when I was growing up, I saw uh, Bangladesh Nationalist Party in power, and there was a change after 5 years. Awami League, that's another government who is right wing. So they came in power. So whenever the right wing is coming in, they have this inclination towards India. So anything they want to actually have, they try to negotiate with India first. So this becomes more of a foreign policy, that whenever the right wing party is coming in power, they lean towards India.
Mm.
And this is something that Bangladesh Nationalist Party, which align itself with a Muslim party here in Bangladesh, they take it very negatively. That why should Bangladesh, an independent country, should lean toward India, which is just another country struggling like Bangladesh. So um, this has nothing to do with me as a general citizen. It doesn't affect me because this is just a political narrative they are actually giving us. It doesn't make any sense to me if we should make all deals using India as the mediator. You know, when we're buying arms, for example, let's say we're buying arms from Russia, should we buy from Russia or should we give money to India to buy for us? You
Mm.
know, so so this is something the left wing party is against. Like, why should Bangladesh um, keep India as a mediatory country? Anyways, so this is very I think I don't know, brief perception, but my source of information may be biased as well. This is something that uh, I think is going on. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate.
I was just gonna say really quick, like, first of all, thank you for that information because that's information that I was not keenly aware of. But I think when you talk about immigration as a general issue, particularly when you're looking at it from the United States perspective, a word you said earlier was alienated, and then just kind of everybody being isolated and separate, and that's something I think we saw. That was the attitude of America in terms of immigration for the last 4 years. And now that we've had a change in power in America, you would think things could become better in terms of immigration. But now we're also got a pandemic. And so we're not quite sure what America is in terms of immigration. Yeah, I think that's always going to be a sticky subject in this country. But the other thing is, I think you notice around the world, whether you're talking about England with Brexit or just some of these right-wing leaders around the world, like you're saying, that isolationist attitude is something that seems to be kind of rearing its ugly head right now.
All right. One of the team member,
All
Cole
right, is that Cole?
White, has joined.
Yes, yes. Hello, everyone.
How are you? Yes, Cole, another one of our team members. We've just been talking about immigration, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually watching live. And I think Rabiul actually showed up time before and actually provided me with a list of non-immigrant visas from the U.S. Embassy in Bangladesh. So I want to thank you for that link. But yeah, there are some non-immigrant visas for Bangladesh as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to non-immigrant rights, so all the visas are available for across the globe, right? We have this concept of diversity and inclusiveness. So we have a cap on each country as well. So that is one of the reason like this H-1B has been hijacked by billion-dollar companies, and Indian 70% goes to Indians also because of who is, I won't say like smart enough, who is trying to manipulate and get the hold of it. Like as Rabi, you were mentioning about the politics, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are still young, and I do come from the Indian origin, so I know a little bit history about it. And India was the reason, like you have Bangladesh country right now, right? Is that right? Because it was part of Pakistan, and Pakistan and Bangladesh was a one country along with India before 1947, and it was under British. And when the British went off, they divided like Pakistan and India, and Bangladesh was like east, and Bangladesh as such was not a country. And after 72, because of the Indian army support, like they were able to become a separate country. Is that right? Is that what the history is?
Yeah, not only that, I mean, before and after the liberation war, uh, many Bangladeshis fled to India. I think in Assam or West Bengal. It's part of India, which is very close to the Bangladeshi border. I think millions of Bangladeshi went there just to survive. It happened before and after the war as well. So it's not just that India supported Bangladesh with military. India also supported, I mean, as a humanitarian country as well. There was, yeah, that kind of support as well.
Yeah, that's right, right. So like just US is playing the big daddy for all the countries around the world, saying that like we are the superpower. And similarly, Asian subcontinent, like China has taken over, but India was trying to play around with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and all smaller countries, saying that I am the big daddy. So that is one of the reasons, right? If you look at it, like even our foreign policies and based on the politics, right? So they try to the superpowers like Russia and US always compete after the Cold War, like who can supply the arms to different third world countries, and basically they are the one who's creating that conflict. And even India has that problem whether to buy it with Russia. If they deal with Russia, then US gets upset. So if they deal with US, the Russian contracts goes off. Even different things are happening. So that is same applies to Bangladesh and other countries. And we can't control all those things. And certainly, my question in terms of sweatshops and body shops that is coming up in, again, that can boost your economy. How is in terms of human rights and religious rights? Because I know like Bangladesh is a Islamic country. Is that right? Or is it
The
like
majority of us Muslims, yes.
okay? So is that a kind of an issue or problem? I know that recently that has been an issue with the border with Bangladesh and West Bengal, as you mentioned, right? People immigrating, they are also trying to bring in that citizenship clause or something, like, I don't know, some protest
I think it
action.
has now. I think it has always been a problem. I mean, in the broader context, if you look around Indian subcontinent, I think um, it it is historical. It's not like something happened yesterday. You know, when the majority, I am in the majority, I am a Muslim or who is actually born in a Muslim family. So it is very difficult for me to see the problem because I am the one actually getting all the benefits. So no matter how much I say it, I'll still be telling you less. So this is my first statement, and I think when I talk to my friends who belong to other religions and in the minority ethnic group as well, like if you go to the hill or other areas, I mean in the periphery of this country, you will find that they are being treated I mean unfairly. They're not given rights to own lands, maybe by the government, but the people living in those areas who are the majority, I mean, maybe they are Muslim or maybe they have other sorts of identity. I'm not saying just religious identity will give you this power. As a matter of fact, I should tell you that religion is not actually leading Bangladesh. We are actually a right-wing country right now. So, there is a, I don't know, there is a process of secularization. So it is all politically driven. The party in power controls all everything. In terms of that, if you are in the minority group, let's say you are a Christian living in the forest area, so you will get less and less benefits from the country. If someone actually burns your house, you might not get justice. I think this is true for other countries in the neighborhood as well. Like if you go to Myanmar, they just shoved all those countries. Sorry, shoved all those people in our country. So from the Arakan state. So they did that because they were in the minority. And if you look at other countries, you will find more examples. I think, yeah, there are, again, I would like to say that when I am in the majority, no matter how much I emphasize it, it won't actually be justified. I mean, yeah, I can't justify the wrong that is done to them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you are right on that, right? So you feel that in the right way, but some people see it, and that's why, like, I don't even agree on categorizing people as terrorists, as you mentioned, right? In your country, you are majority, and you cross the border, you become a minority in India, and the Muslim appeasement is happening in the Indian subcontinent and more prone in the last 6-7 years. That's what the Hindu nationalists are trying to do, and they make that as an agenda. So it's the same, right? Even here in US, we have this problem, immigrant crossing the border with the Mexico border. Whenever they want agriculture workers and Mexicans, they open the border, welcome them, and when they don't want, they shut the border and say, like, we build the wall. And the Mexicans are kind of, we know, like, how the ex-president abused it and had the political gain mileage in that. So that is something across the world, everywhere, that is going to happen, right? No matter. But then we have to, as you are a teacher as well, I don't know, you teach at school level or college? What do you teach?
High school level. High school level, yeah.
Okay, that's good, right? I mean, that's the right age where people can be molded to have broader vision and opportunities and look at the global level and how global economy and global scale impact can affect every communities across the world. And have a, I won't say, like, you don't have to turn everybody secular overnight. Again, different belief systems over right here. And again, we are equally divided. Two of you are kind of inclined towards religious belief, either one or the other. and two of us, like Cole, I'm taking it for granted with you being an atheist. So, but
I think
still we can have
when it
a
comes to, I mean, any sort of belief system, everyone should have the right to follow their will. I mean, whatever they want to follow. But it becomes problem when you are trying to impose your belief on me. I mean, I am not going to follow the dictation you follow. So this is the problem with uh, our neighborhood. I mean, my country, the other
Mm.
nearby countries, what they are doing or what we are doing when we're following our dogmas, like the things that is taught in our religious book, when we're trying to apply those dogma on the people whom it doesn't apply, it that becomes problem. I think that's the issue with Bangladesh, India, maybe, I don't know, Pakistan and other countries.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
oh,
ahead, Cole.
sorry. I had noticed like some of my friends like from Afghanistan, like in India, or sorry, in Afghanistan, and they moved to America. Like they had a lot of trouble like during the whole like time of like the war, the war on terror and stuff like that, and that could almost be viewed as like a war on religion, whereas we're supposed to have freedom of religion in our country, but we're like so like weaponized against this like caliphate or whatever, and so basically just fighting proxy wars with Iran, but it's under the name of like religion, and so basically it looks like we're discriminating against religions. And I, for one, like even as an atheist, like really value the freedom of religion. I think it's one of the greatest things ever, and how it's seen in America is always, the Muslims are very peaceful and nice people, but they just get like terribly picked on, just for being who they are, and that's just gonna ingrain them more into a like negative thinking and a poor lifestyle. It's like, is that what you want? That's stupid.
And part of that, I think, Cole, to piggyback off of that, because I'm a Christian, and I see a lot of, especially over the last 4 years. I don't know if it has to do with who was in the White House. Maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe it's the direct correlation to who was in the White House. But I've seen so many people who call themselves Christian or followers of Christ, and they are anything but Christ-like through their actions, where you see the discrimination, you see the hate, you see, whether you're talking about a different religious group or somebody in the LGBTQ uh, lifestyle, or different races, like that lack of tolerance, that lack of love, that lack of empathy, which are all things that Christ modeled. If you really are about that Christian lifestyle, like just the way that people have used religion as a cudgel to beat somebody across the head. It has been very disheartening, but I guess like it's always been that way, you could say, where people have used religion, people have used people's faith to make somebody else the other. And that's why like you never can have that true harmony, that true coexistence, because there's always somebody who benefits from stirring up those emotions, from stirring up that hate.
Yeah, it's almost like the religion itself is based on like proselytizing and conversion, and when they can't do it, they're frustrated, and so they just yell and stammer, obscenities at people because they can't, of their own failings, basically. And if you can't convince somebody to come over to your side, like your religion, then it's like almost proof of, first of all, your religion's inferiority and your own for not being able to sway them. And that I think they get stuck on that rather than the actual teachings of the Bible. And I think they take a lot from the Old Testament too, which says the exact opposite of the New Testament. A lot of times, the Old Testament says to stone people to death, and then the New Testament says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Yes, like a lot of so-called Christians these days love everything about Jesus except for what Jesus was actually talking about.
Yeah,
It's neither here nor there, Cole.
no, it is here and there. Actually, it's everywhere. But yeah, and also, in the Old Testament it says, let's see, eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and in the New Testament it says turn the other cheek. So the two say two different things, and the contradictory nature of it said, well, on which side of the Bible was God wrong or lying? As an atheist myself, I see a lot of problem there. And yet, yeah, you have these Christian people who, around here, like I have a camp. I live in a homeless camp, and like a lot of people will go by and like honk and like yell obscenities and like blare their engines and like shout like F you, or like one guy said to like basically threaten me with like a kind of like forced sexual encounter. He like was threatening me. Yeah, it's just like these people are probably thinking that we're the leeches of society, and they probably were, unfortunately, religious or Christians in some way.
And Jesus would say, what you do to the least of my brothers, you do unto me. But they skipped over that chapter, Cole.
I think they did. I think they skipped over a lot of chapters. I don't think they read it.
So I don't want to upset our new guest, and Rabiul, like I don't feel offended. I'm kind of an extremist atheist, I would call myself. I'm completely against all kind of religions and all kind of, because Cole might say like atheist, and they might be softer tone, freedom to all religion, because religion is the root cause of all evil. So we have tried to do that, educate people by bringing in experienced professionals like Dr. Daryl Ray. We interviewed him on Sex and God, and that was an interesting talk show. Probably we can arrange that again. And I'm not trying to convince everybody else, because in this modern age, we have to come out of it. Like, because whether we accept it or not, religious group always try to have this propaganda. That's why like the Islamophobia kind of thing is happening in different parts of the world. And even within, I don't know anything about it, right? Cole was mentioning that, and even Ramses, who his family is a Muslim, and still he is struggling with that, and he is against Islam. So probably I can pair up with him for if Rabiul is interested to have a discussion and conversation and explain his position. Why
are you JK, are you actually trying to think in terms of conversion, like go from this part of the fence and land on that part?
No, not conversion. I mean, everybody has.
Because I actually have no association. I don't align myself with atheists or religious groups. So you can call me an agnostic, but I'll still tell you not to, because I do not know the term really well. So I'm not actually putting on this hat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Again, right? So that is what secular people trying to do, right? Even satanic humanists, right? Or Steve, Nate, you might remember, right? So why certain group is against the religious dogmas? Because that mesmerizes people, right? You are mentioning it right away that you are an agnostic. You still don't know for sure what it is, but your family and your background, your upbringing was Islamic. So obviously you cannot get rid of it like so easily. Recovering from religion is itself a big task. There is so many lot of groups over here across the US and across the globe, which is, again, they are fighting tooth and nail to make people realize it's not like accepting all the religion, but making people as an evolved being, humans, and how to treat each other in a better way. If you look at it, like that is where like our social experiment is going towards. We tried on the immigration concept. You won't believe that I was going to share that today in our topic, but we jumped on in a different way. Like we set up a fake profile, and you won't believe that like we were able to work for $1 billion company, earning in dollars more than $10,000 a month with a fake profile. Can you believe that? So how easy it is to fool people. So that is something like when you are from the childhood, you are mesmerized by your family saying that like this is the truth. How can you come out of it? It's not that easy.
I think it's a philosophical question as well. Stop me if I am actually going off topic. Um, if someone is feeling good, putting a certain kinds of hat, and they are not doing harm to other people around them, and they're not trying to actually convert them or make them believe what he himself believes, I think it's not a bad choice for me, if it doesn't affect other people around me negatively, of course. And another thing, like when I am in this prophetic mode, that somehow they are not seeing what I'm seeing, so they must come to my side to see what I see. That's the problem, I think. Even I would like to make a brief criticism of atheism here as well. When an atheist thinks that this religious person is going to dogs and have this half wit, I think that's a, I don't know, overstretched remark. You haven't talked to them yet. Maybe they don't believe in in their religion in the way you think they believe in. So maybe there are some religious people who think of religion in a different way. I have heard of religious people who are more like they are. I would say they are atheists actually, but they uh, actually carry the terms of a certain religion. If you actually look around, you will find Buddhist monks who would call themselves religious, but by definition, Muslims are atheists. Sorry, Buddhists are atheists. Uh, if you just look up the term.
Yes,
Because yeah,
I would like to stop you there. That's exactly
right.
my point is, right? So you know that Buddha and his background, history, and all those things. He was against all those. I wouldn't say like Hindu kind of thing. That is itself is not a religion, and he just was giving people to have an elevated understanding of life and the purpose of life, meaning in life, and how you can suffer and choose a path and overcome those things. It was a basic concept. He was trying to educate people, saying that like not to have deity worship and all those things that Hindus do it, like to abolish those customs and rituals and liberate people. But they made him as a god, and Buddhism has become a religion. So this is an age-old problem with all the other groups like Jews, Christianity, Islam. Everybody tried to do it. That's why like they invaded, wars happened, all those things happened. That's why like Buddhists are atheists. And if you look at atheism is like not a religion, it's not a belief system. And it is as simple as that. I don't believe in God. I don't think that it exists, right? With this modern age, with so much advancement in scientific thing, I still can't understand what makes people to still believe in a age old text or some god which they have not seen or experienced or no proof is there. Why do you still hang on to that dead weight, right?
If I just take a side here, just for the discussion, I'm not actually trying to debate you or, you know, convert you in
You
some
are
way.
welcome to do it.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
happy to do it.
So I think many of us who follow religion, they don't actually care about what's in that religion. I mean, as a Muslim, I'm not required to read the text and understand it. In my society or in my community, I can just go to the mosque, pray 5 times, and have do fasting during the Ramadan month. So everyone is cool with me. They won't ask like how many prophets we had or what their teachings were. I mean, what's written in the Quran. They won't ask me those because they themselves don't know. This is for a fact I know. In my community, there may be a handful of people who read the text and have some idea about the text. But if you ask around about the history of the religion, they will actually may not be able to provide you the right source. Anyways, I think in my country and in many other countries, maybe there are more literalists who consider text as the basis of religion, and they do not want to see that the text is part of history. I mean, it happened like, if you talk about Islam, 1400 years back, it had a context back then, and we should actually think about the dynamism or the relativism right now. Like, do we need that sort of tradition right now when we are wearing pants and wearing shirts, and we no longer have those kind of food habit? And I don't know if I'm being clear or not. I mean, things have changed over 1400 years. If we still want to follow what happened like 1400s back, we need to take this into account. Like, am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, I think for me, I do think there is a difference between the text and the application of the lessons of the text, right? Like, for instance, for me as a Christian, like there are certain things in the Bible that just don't translate to 2021, in terms of the way that we eat or the way that we are, that we bathe and, hygiene and things of that nature. The roles of women in society. Like, there's stuff that just doesn't jive with the way that things are now. But to me, the important things are, how do you treat people? How do you relate to the world around you? And I think that's where I always make the distinction. And it might just be a distinction for my own benefit, but I always make the distinction between an organized religion and somebody's personal faith, somebody's personal spiritual life. And so, like, there's a lot of things in the Christian church, whether you're talking about Southern Baptist or all the denominations, that I don't agree with, particularly as a Black man in America. Like, if you go back and look at the history of Christianity when it comes to race, particularly in the South, there's a lot of things that I do not agree with. I won't co-sign. But in terms of, love your neighbor as yourself, in terms of, the lessons of the teachings, like, that stuff I still rock with. And so, like, I do kind of make a distinction, and maybe it's like a technicality, but I do make a distinction between what the religion is doing and what this individual, how they live his or her life.
Yeah.
JK, I just one point I forgot to add. It is very easy for someone to refute others in a religious scenario. Like Nate was talking about denominations. One certain denomination might totally disagree with all the other denominations. So this is a very sensitive fact. Keeping that in mind, when I was reading about my own religion, I'm in Islam, I was reading about our prophet, the last prophet. We use Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or peace be upon him, as I think it's something we need to actually say after saying the name. Anyways, so when he was actually going around preaching, for me it seemed like he was going around and using the context and society as cues. Like, for example, he saw Jews and he knew about the Jews and their history. So he tried to relate and and preached in their way, like the way they would actually accept it. Like a good teacher, if you are a good teacher, you will try to relate whatever the content is in the textbook. But if you're just giving all the information to the students, it won't be as interesting. You see. So I think it was dynamic at that stage. Like every other year or everywhere the preacher went, he changed some of it. The preaching that he had, he changed some of it, keeping in mind that socio-cultural tradition and other sorts of things. But it stopped with the literalist when they thought that this is the book and whatever it is written here, we must follow it. No matter which area we're in, no matter which language we speak, no matter what kind of food we eat, clothes we wear, it doesn't matter. Whatever is written in this book, we will be hardcore, hardliner about this. I think that's where the problem starts. This is my explanation. I would have actually agreed with many of the preachings if it didn't become so much literal.
That's exactly my point, Abhul, right? So you are a teacher, right? You know that when a textbook is outdated, will you teach the same thing to your students? No, right? And will you teach the syllabus of US in Bangladesh? No, you have your own curriculum, right? So the same way, right? As you even Nate was mentioning, different denominations in Christianity, even in Islam. I don't know much about it, but still, when I experienced in Middle East, Iran and Iraq. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have different Shia and Sunni, and also different sect. I don't know about those things. Everywhere, that is where the division is always going to be there. Like nobody is going to agree upon everything altogether. But my problem is science has provided us a new opportunity to come together and explore the world in a different way. But whereas people don't want to admit that they are wrong, right? So you and me or some people here will say like, okay, fine, I am open-minded, I'm ready to listen to others, but others are closed, right? That is where the problem comes in. When you yourself mentioned, right, if you don't have a particular religion and you are in a remote place, you won't get justice. How is it fair? And you won't get opportunities, and you won't get different things in life because of you are in the wrong place. That's the messed up world, right? We are all in. So how do we change that? Is that even possible?
I
So
think embracing. Oh, sorry, Cole, go on.
I was going to say the freedom of religion basically is basically kind of self-annihilating, almost questioning your own beliefs kind of thing. That it really challenges your own religion, almost as if even Christians sometimes feel that they're being neglected and persecuted because of the fact that there are so many challenging opinions, and that in itself is something you like have to come to grips with, or else like just stop believing, because you have to come to grips with that there's going to be a bunch of other beliefs
Mhm.
that are going to be believing differently than you, and you got to be able to hold up to that fact. And with freedom of religion, I think that it either makes religious people either relatively good, or it makes them kind of like after generations like slowly lose the veracity that they had before. And I think I like that effect, if I am accurate at all in it. But
Well, two things really quick. One for the audience. Every time I click off my camera, it's because I'm reading and I don't want to get so close up to the screen and in all your faces, everybody out there. But the second point is, and this is something that JK and I have we've had this conversation a few times over the past year. Almost feels like JK's testing me to a certain extent. When I think we've done like 5 or 6 shows on the topic of religion by now, and to me, it's like I'm all for the conversation. You know what I mean? Like if my faith is something that can be broken by somebody having a differing opinion than me, then my faith's no good in the first place. And so I'm like, whether you're atheist or agnostic or Muslim or Jewish or a satanic humanist, which we've talked to him a couple times. Like, to me, I'm here for the conversation because I might learn something. I might have a different perspective after that conversation gets through, but it also can reaffirm my faith, because I think that a lot of times, like you're saying, Cole, people are scared of being challenged. People are scared of, doubting themselves. And to me, doubt is part of faith, right? Because it's the evidence of things unseen, at least to me. And so, like, if I don't, like, there's been times when I've doubted. There's been times when I'm like, if is what I believe really true? And for me, it is. And so, like, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but if you can't have a conversation about your religion, if you can't have a conversation about your spirituality, like, to me, that I think it's something you got to do, man. It's something you got to do, because there's going to be different opinions. And part of the conversation is allowing people with different opinions the freedom, like you're saying, Cole, to disagree, because that's where we had that conversation at.
Yes, I think the point here, right? It's not about having conversations or disagreement or the actions, right? That is what, like, for me, the impact creates when you talk about opportunities and discrimination and justice, and all those things are connected. When people with their belief system behave in a different way, right? For example, against LGBT community, or discriminating based on the color or race, right? We know that, right? That's why, like, we are fighting tooth and nail on this project, like on the non-immigrants from all over the world. There are 150 million people around the world who favors to immigrate to US. Still, the US government is having this non-immigrant category and exploiting it, people on the one side having this modern day slavery kind of thing, and then talking about human rights all over the world, preaching to the world, saying that, like, we have to follow the human rights. Come on, you can't have double standards, right? One for you and one for the others. That's exactly is happening everywhere. So even just like in the religious context, I don't know how far you all know that. I had this discussion with the Buddhist monk who was like a guest in our talk show, Beta and Yuji. Like, they are Buddhist followers and they are from Japan. And I asked this question to them. Buddha is a gem of the Indian subcontinent. They hijacked him. And you can see, like, Chinese and other Asian countries are the one who is following Buddhism now. But whereas it was completely eradicated from the Indian subcontinent, once in the history it was flourishing all over India. Buddhism was so popular, and it shows that everybody, like, as I got confused when you said that, even the religious people, you say, like, you have the faith, and then, like, you have the doubt, which shows clearly that you are not having the exact faith. Faith is blindness, right? So when you say that you have that doubt, which means your faith is not real, and you are not able to admit that. And so you are hanging on to it and say, like, okay, let me go deep down and cling on to that imaginary thing, right? We all can imagine different thing. I'm not saying that is right or wrong, but your actions. Even a funny part that happened was the concept came from the Indian subcontinent, the karma and all those things, right? And one other group here, they are, I don't know, they are Christians or somewhere, like, deconverted or changed their mind. They were talking about karma and past lives as if it is the ultimate truth and reality. And I was so shocked. What the heck, man? What kind of nonsense are you? Without any evidence, right? You are connecting that to you. Everybody has a past life. And how can you justify that? So we have to move forward as a society, as a civilization, as a nation, or as the world has to progress. we have to sacrifice certain things, which means whatever your belief is, you have to keep it within you or within the closed doors. But look at it, like across the world, what happens? The power hungry people are dominated, and in that, religion is one of the major thing. Without religion, the power politics will lose its essence.
Yeah, I think that religions have been really co-opted a lot of times, unfortunately, by the government itself, or governments rather, to grab onto the cultural masses that believe in this. So they're like, okay, well, we'll adopt it. We'll adopt the prevailing or the dominant religion, and therefore we'll have like the support of the most amount of people. So they've been co-opted a lot of times. And the idea of, you're going to believe this, these are the words of an atheist, but the idea of religion being the root of all evil forgets one important lesson from the Bible, which is money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not just money, the love of money is the root of all evil. And we see this basically in these people who exploit using the H-1B. I don't think necessarily, I haven't heard anything about being devout people, but very respectable people in the community, but however are psychopathic in their sort of whatever pursuit of money, and their love of money over people, and viewing people as commodities and money as the transcendent everything. And which it is. I mean, money is everything. It can be a cup of coffee, it can be a building. Money is everything. But I think people, I wouldn't totally agree with the Bible's comment, but I would say that people get very highly invested in money as to forget everyone else. And I'll teach this about my in my class or whatever meeting I'm having about logic and philosophy. It's about, if you don't have the intelligence, which most of us, we all come to a point. I myself come to many points where I'm very honestly ignorant of what's going on. To always err on the side of kindness and empathy, because that's going to be the thing that's going to help people share everything, rather than the side of aggression and misunderstanding, which never solves anything but more hate and distrust. Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad you brought up the money part really quick, because
Let us stop here, Nate.
we're going to stop now?
Because we are running out of time.
Yes.
It's an interesting conversation, and I really appreciate Rabiul joining us as well.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he will come back again. We will try to reformat it. And before we end the show, let's have some final thoughts from each one of us.
Rabiul?
Yeah. Thanks for actually letting me in. It really turned out to be a really good conversation. I was just thinking about how doubt can help science, but how can doubt cannot solve religious problems? I mean, those of us who have this inclination towards religion, I mean, we obviously, some of us has bias towards either religion or maybe something else. Uh, you know, those who are actually testing hypotheses in the laboratory, this hypothesis is a doubt. I mean, if you check the meaning, so yeah, it is okay to have doubt about religion. It's not like I'm just going to deny everything that's written in the religion. Anyways, thank you for organizing this. This is a really good platform. Yeah.
Awesome. Cole, any final thoughts?
I was just looking up the definition for something in the chat, because I'm having a very interesting isms talk with Rabiul in the chat. Thank you, Rabiul. You've been great, and thank you so much for the information. And I mean, in order to get our freedom of religion, for us who are skeptics, or maybe even people who don't think anything is necessarily a better point of view. We should basically be recognized as a religion as well, and get our own freedoms and tax-free rights and all those matters. We should have as well. We should have a statue on the state lawn, and things like that. And as in terms of Gnosticism was based around gnosis, which means to know. So agnostic means someone who doesn't know. So it's and the Gnostics were a really devout and kind of crazy group of people. So you also have people that were the Gnostics, being the people who were very zealous, or zealots, I guess. So in all worlds, basically, you have this inversion of morality where you have to pick between the lesser of two evils. So yeah, an unfortunate phrase, but yeah. But I will say that to err on the side of empathy and kindness is best, and to research more on the H-1B visa at Stop Now. But that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You can check that at stop-now.org. JK, any final thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, with the line with our discussion today turned out towards the religion and freedom, right? So religion and freedom, it's an oxymoron thing. You cannot connect two things together. Religion is surrendering yourself to a faith or a belief, so which is giving out your freedom. So I don't agree that religion should have freedom. So that's the thought that comes to me. And as I said, like, I am totally against any religion, any sort. Everybody is an individual. If you are, if you dare to stand alone, not to be in the crowd, then you can be free from everything. Those are my final thoughts, and I will play out the final intro and outro that we usually play in our talk shows.
I'll just say my final thought real quick, JK, is thanks to everybody for watching. It's great that we can have these discussions and these conversations. And at the end of the day, everybody respects the other person's opinion, and everybody, there's no finger pointing, a name calling, a cursing, at least not this week. But this is part of what we do here at Stop Now. We have different conversations. We've got a lot of social experiments going on, and just trying to do some good in this world, whichever way we can. So thank you everybody watching, and I'm gonna have to get with JK because I heard somebody's earlier mention some Stop Now t-shirts, and I've been here a year and I don't have my Stop Now t-shirt yet, so we need to fix that, JK. But other than that, man, I guess that's it for this weekend, and we hope to see everybody next week.
All right, we are working out on that, Nate. Thank you for that reminder. And as you all know, that our mission is to make everyone do something greater in our lifetime. So please join us to volunteer, support, and donate your time and talent. Bye for now.
Stop Now, a social experiment enterprise. Stop, listen, share. Everyone can make a difference. We are on a mission. Everyone should do something greater in their lifetime. Change the future. Be a proud member. Join us.